Shalom, holy initiates and holy adepts. I am the chief magician of Mystery Babylon. Welcome. Shema Yisrael, Yahu Eloheinu, Yahu Echad. So, yes, I'm going to be speaking about a rather famous subject these days. Now, before I begin, we have to understand that there are a lot of really ignorant, just a lot of really stupid and really blind individuals out there. And unfortunately, my channel sometimes attracts many of these ignorant and stupid individuals, right? So I want to repeat, and hopefully for the last time, that I, the chief magician of Mystery Babylon, I do not belong to any secret society or any secret order. Not like that of which you may be thinking of. Certainly not any of the names that most people would consider secret societies these days, okay? No. But some of you who are ignorant might be exclaiming now, but you said that you're a Knights Templar. Indeed, I did say that, but you completely misunderstood. You completely misunderstand because you're not initiated, especially nowhere near my level. You're not understanding. Many of you are not understanding what I mean when I say that I'm a true Knights Templar, or that I belong to the highest, most secret, holiest of orders. You don't understand what is being stated. You don't understand what is being meant. Not when these words and statements come out of somebody like myself. So the problem is that practically no one is initiated these days. They don't understand the buzzwords. They don't have the keys. And so they have no understanding. Now, what is going to be revealed in this video is what I believe, at least as far as my understanding is concerned, is that which hasn't really been revealed, right? There's tons of books written on Freemasonry. In fact, there are certain books that are very secret. Freemasonry has its own secret books that only a small select handful of people possess and own. Or at least in some cases, certain secret books that you have to reach a certain degree within Freemasonry to possess. But even many of these books, they don't have the keys, they don't have the full understanding. So I think this is the only medium, this is the only channel, so the only video, really this is the only media, the only medium that is going to truly reveal the quintessence of ancient Freemasonry, probably for the first time in such an open setting, right? Sure, there have been maybe one or two mediums that have done so in the past, but not to the degree and level that I'm going to be revealing here in this video. So let us get into the essence of the matter from within the essence, from within the mist of the matter. So we're going to begin, in order to set the context and a proper foundation to begin to reveal the keys. We're going to begin in Talmud Babli, in Tractate Gittin, in folio 88a. There it reads, rather, it must be interpreted as follows, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu performed tzedakah with the people of Israel by exiling them in the exile of Zedkiyahu, while the exile of Yechoniyahu still existed in Babel, as it is written with regard to the exile of Yechoniyahu, and the craftsmen and the smiths, 1,000. And he's quoting 2 Kings chapter 24, verse 16. The great scholars referred to in this verse as craftsmen and smiths of the generation were exiled with Yochanan, and they were therefore able to give guidance to those who were exiled in the time of Zedekiah when they came to Babel. So why are the great scholars referred to as craftsmen and smiths, right? So this is a very ancient holy text. There's many, many powerful keys given in this ancient holy text. Now, as I'm always saying, the number one problem that we've always had for the past 2,000 years about is just the immense amount of ignorance, stupidity, and retardation, right? As a Christian, you have to be retarded. You literally have to be retarded if you are a Christian and you are anti-Semitic, or you hate the Jews, or you hate the Talmud, or you think the Talmud is some perverse satanic text. You have to be really fucking stupid and retarded. And I have to use the F word for emphasis here, okay? And for shock value, you really have to be really fucking stupid and retarded if this is your mindset, if this is your ideology. I just recently had some really stupid jackass moron post a comment to my video bashing the Talmud. And I don't know how many times I have some stupid, retarded jackasses that come to my channel bashing the Talmud because they're so fucking retarded and they don't understand these holy texts. They have no understanding whatsoever. I think one of the stupidest and most retarded things that the Christian church ever did was those times when they burned the Holy Talmud. They're burning very powerful keys. These are base principle texts that are mastered by the Jews that run the world. But nobody knows this. Nobody understands this. So a very good question is asked here. Why are the great scholars referred to as craftsmen and smiths? Right? Powerful keys are given here. We have to understand the keys. We have to understand the code words. Right? When we're talking about the concealed sovereign grandmasters, when we're talking about secret societies, everything is keys, everything is about symbols, occult symbols and keys. But some of these keys and symbols are very, very ancient, thousands of years old. So here we're given very powerful keys that the Hebrew word charash, or Magikh, we're not to understand these words literally. They're keys, they're code words in reference to great Torah scholars. So here we learn that Torah scholars, which in all essence are the actual true holy initiates and adepts, that they are viewed as smiths and craftsmen. So the question is, what are they crafting? Now we know a smith works with metal. So then that means that metal itself is also a code word. What does it come to represent? I'm not here to answer all your questions. I'm not here to fully initiate you. So the point here is that I want to introduce the first pertinent and relevant code words and keys. Now, if you can read between the lines, if you even have somewhat of a holy initiation, you should already be able to extrapolate, possibly interpolate, what is really being said here. What the true quintessence of a Torah scholar is, of a true holy initiate and adept, and how this is all tied together. How we are able to tie a craftsman or a smith with an actual holy initiate and adept or Torah scholar. Now we're going to move on to discuss one of the most ancient, highest, and most powerful magicians, grandmaster magicians that has ever walked the earth. And I'm afraid that unfortunately most religious people are too stupid and too ignorant to even know anything that I'm about to speak about now. So we're going now to Tractate Berachot in folio 55a. Rabbi Huda said that Rab said Betzalel knew how to join the letters with which heaven and earth were created. From where do we derive this? It is written here in praise of Betzalel, and he's quoting Shmoth, chapter 31, verse 3, and I have filled him with the Ruach of Elohim in Chokhmah, in Da'ath, in Bina, and in Da'ath, and in all manner of workmanship. And it is written there with regard to creation of heaven and earth, quoting Proverbs chapter 3, verse 19, that Adonai, through Chokhmah, founded the earth. Through Bina, he established the heavens. And it is written, by his Da'ath, the depths were broken up and the skies dropped the dew. We see that Chokhmah, Bina, and Da'ath, the qualities which with the heavens and earth were created, are all found in Betzalel. Now, there's so many esoteric levels that are being touched upon in this folio, right? Your standard average uninitiated Jewish reader studying this holy text, much of what is being alluded to and hinted in this folio is probably going to go way over his head. But if you're initiated, you know what is being hinted at here, right? They talk about joining the letters. Now, you got to be really stupid. You have to be really retarded if you think we're talking about joining the letters in the form of writing, with respect to writing. Are we talking about using letters to write a book or a tablet, to carve upon a tablet? Again, you have to be really stupid and really retarded if this is your literal mindset. Now, if you're truly initiated, you know that reference is being made to the Sephiroth. So there's a lot of Sephirothic mysteries being touched upon here. When the ancient sages are talking about the joining of letters here, if you're truly initiated, you know they are talking about none other than holy Magikh. So, if you're truly initiated, if you've already read between the lines, you know that what is being truly stated here is that quintessentially Betzalel is being designated as one of the highest and most powerful magicians that has ever walked the earth. And that the key that he was one of the highest and most powerful magicians is that he had free total access to three of the highest Sephiroth, namely Chokhmah, Bina, and Da'at. As I've already stated in other videos, that holy Magikh is entirely a subset of the Sephiroth and working with the Sephiroth. Right? We got all of these books, impure, stupid books, wannabe occultists. They're not really occultists, they're just pseudo-occultists. These days, we are abound with uninitiated, pseudo, and many times unholy occultists. If they're not a pseudo-occultist, they're an impure, unholy occultist, or they're just stupid, retarded occultists that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Most of the books on the occult these days are a complete, total, big fucking joke. And again, I have to use the F word for strict emphasis and shock value, because it must be delivered. You got all these books on the Sephiroth, on Kabbalah, and they don't even know how to work with the Sephiroth. There's no book that talks about how to properly work with the Sephiroth that exists in the English language. I'm sorry, fellow listeners, but it's all just one big fucking joke. From my vantage point, from my eyes, as high as I sit, it looks like one big fucking joke. It really does. And lately, I've been really upset because within the past 24 hours, I've had 3 stupid jackasses post idiotic, retarded comments come to my channel and post stupid, idiotic comments. And the fact that I have to spend at least a few picoseconds of my precious holy time having to view these comments is just really upsetting to the highest degree. In any case, not to digress off topic. The point here, the quintessence, is that Betzalel was one of the highest and most powerful Grandmaster magicians that has ever walked the earth. Now, What was the quintessential function of Betzalel? To build, I repeat, it was to build the temple. To build the temple in the wilderness. So keep this in mind. In summary, I can only hope that at least some of you listening who are truly worthy, actual true holy initiates and adepts, will more than know and understand what is truly being relayed in this folio. So now let us proceed to one of the most ancient and most esoteric of texts, none other than Sefer Yetzirah. In chapter 2, verse 2, it states, "22 letters. 22 letters he formed, or really he engraved, he weighed, you can say he transmuted, he permuted, and created with these 22 letters every living being and every soul yet uncreated." This is probably not the most perfect English translation of the underlying Hebrew, but the point is that these 22 letters quintessentially were weighed, they were transmuted, they were permuted, they were engraved, they were hewn. So notice the language that is being used here. Duly note the language that is being used here. It is language used by craftsmen, smiths, and masons. Quintessentially, Betzalel was a mason of the Holy Temple in the wilderness. This is all Masonic language, quintessentially. Now, as I've already stated in some of my other videos, or if you do not know, if you don't know this, you shouldn't even be here watching this, please leave. Sefer Yetzirah is one of the most ancient and most powerful treatises on holy Magikh. It is entirely a treatise, a manual for performing some of the highest, most sublime, most powerful operations of holy Magikh. This is a fact, undisputed fact. Now, the problem is that 99.9% or 99.9999% of people, Jews, Goyim, doesn't matter, none of them know how to read this book. None of them know how to use this book. This is the Great Arcanum. So already, you should be able to see the Masonic thread that has thus far been threaded. Now, let us speak about my great-great-great-grandfather, King Shlomo. And for those of you that know me, who also know that I am a Gilgul, a divine spark of King Shlomo. Now, King Shlomo was also a Mason because he built the greatest and holiest of temples that have ever been built. It wasn't Hiram Abiff. If you give Hiram Abif credit for this. You're really stupid. You're really ignorant. You're definitely not a true Freemason. It was King Shlomo. Now, I was recently watching a shiur by a very famous Rab, and he said, I really liked what he said. He said that, when we're talking about King Shlomo, right, if you think of people like some of the smartest people in history, people like Albert Einstein or Isaac Newton, some of the smartest and most genius people you can think of in history, he said King Shlomo makes them look like fucking retards. Okay, again, I have to use the F word for shock value and emphasis. Okay, because I really need to stretch the point across. Okay, because I'm sure there's some really stupid, ignorant people listening that have no fucking clue whatsoever. Okay, King Shlomo. You can think of the most powerful magician, the most greatest mathematician, I don't care. Think of the most smartest genius, polymathic person you can think of. They would next to King Shlomo, they would look like fucking retards. Okay, brilliant. Love this teaching. So again, riding along this thread, we see that King Shlomo quintessentially was a Mason. So let us define the word Mason, because I'm sure some of you, I'm sure there's already stupid people listening that think I'm talking about Freemasonry. We look up the word Mason in the dictionary, we see that it is a builder and worker in stone, quintessentially. Right? So we have holy initiates and holy adepts being called craftsmen and smiths, which would definitely be tied into the work and building of stone. Buildings. We have Betzalel, who's one of the highest, most chief masons. And we have King Shlomo, who was also one of the highest and most chief masons. Now, you can't even begin to understand the knowledge and wisdom that King Shlomo possessed of masonry. You can't even begin to understand. So, connect the dots. What then is masonry? It's a key. It's a code word. And it has everything to do with holy Magikh. Because King Shlomo was one of the highest, he was the highest and most powerful magician that has ever walked the earth. Second only to maybe Yeshua. But it could be argued that maybe Yeshua might have been second to King Shlomo. But for any of you Jesus freaks out there, I won't go there for now. And so we see that when we are talking quintessentially about the highest and most powerful magicians, they were all Masons. They all fell under the guise of Masonry and were, of course, responsible for building some of the most ancient, most powerful, magnificent, and holiest of temples. Because Magikh goes hand in hand with the building of holy altars and temples. It could almost be stated that they're one and the same. So what is the quintessential point here? The quintessential point is that the quintessence of Freemasonry, the true ancient quintessence of Freemasonry, is quintessentially Holy Magikh. And this is why we see that some of the most highest and most initiated of Freemasons are knee deep in black magic, ceremonial magic, etc. Because holistically, the roots and foundation of Freemasonry are all in Magikh. But let us continue a little bit more. Now, you may be asking, am I a Freemason? I've already said that I don't belong to any secret societies or any orders, not like what you may think of, not what you probably know, not what you probably have in mind, certainly not any of the polluted names that you may be thinking of or know. As I've already stated on record, indeed, amen, amen, I am a true Holy Knights Templar, and I am also a Freemason. In the Knight list of one of my ancient predecessors has stated on record, none other than the Chief Sovereign Grand Master of the Holy Illuminati, the Baal Shem of London, who stated, I am a Freemason not because older Masons have accepted me into an official lodge, but because I understand and appreciate and why Freemasonry is, when and where it has existed, and what fosters and hinders it. Didn't I tell you that the highest duties of Freemasonry can be fulfilled without bearing the name of a Freemason? Now, who do you think is speaking here? Now, most Freemasons don't even know the dialogue that I'm referencing and citing from here. The vast majority of Freemasons are sheep to be sheared. They're just sheep. Uninitiated. The Baal Shem of London. I don't have the time and space to reveal and get into who the Baal Shem of London is or was. For over a year now, I have stated that I've planned, actually have a video planned, it's mostly finished, on the Baal Shem of London. Probably one of the most powerful esoteric videos that I will probably ever do if I do it. I don't know when I will post such a video or reveal such a video. But I have cited from what is considered one of the most preeminent, correction is probably the most preeminent dialogues of Freemasonry. But again, at this point, we have reached a level in the video where we only welcome actual true holy initiates and adepts who actually know what's going on. I'm afraid the vast majority of you listening have already lost you, and you don't know what the hell is going on, and you don't understand any of this. So you probably just want to leave now. The Baal Shem of London was one of the sovereign Grand Masters of the Holy Illuminati, who existed entirely outside of all the secret societies of Europe and the world. So let me read to you a section of this dialogue between Ernst and Fock, Fock being the Baal Shem of London. Although, sure, well, actually, I think I have it wrong here. Yes, I actually forgot to I think I forgot to, looks like I forgot to include another section of this dialogue. But I'll just, before I read this section, the other part of the dialogue that I forgot is where the Baal Shem of London is talking about how, well, you know what? One second, I'm going to pull it up right now. Okay, I got it up. So the Baal Shem of London begins by stating, because of the analogy that the lodge stands to Freemasonry as church stands to faith, nothing, absolutely nothing about the faith of the members can be inferred from the church's external prosperity. Quite the reverse. there is a kind of prosperity that would only by miracle be compatible with genuine faith. Indeed, history shows that the prosperity of the church and the faith of its members have always been at odds with each other. The one has always destroyed the other, and so I'm afraid. Ernst replies, what? And the Baal Shem replies, the goings of the lodges today are, from what I'm told, quite beyond me. The keeping of accounts, accumulating of capital, these efforts to squeeze out the last percentage of profit, the desire to buy into partnerships, is going after royal and princely licenses, the using of princely authority, and might to suppress brethren who observe rights different from the ones that some want to turn into only genuine rights. These things must end in a fiasco. I hope I am a false prophet. So again, he's just reverberating here what has already been known for the past few centuries, that the vast majority of Freemasonry is just a big fucking joke, okay? Nothing has changed in over 1 or 2 centuries, quite honestly. So, if you are truly initiated, and you can read between the lines, what we have here is a sovereign Grand Master of the Holy Illuminati who stands completely and entirely outside of this. What is being stated here are many quintessential points about Freemasonry. Now, when I do this video on the Baal Shem of London, I plan to give a more thorough discussion of this text. For now, I only wanted to cite a few tidbits from this very preeminent text, where the true ontology of Freemasonry is revealed to its highest sense. So, Freemasonry true Freemasonry is not to be found in its external form or its external construct at all. The true initiates and adepts are outside of this organization and brotherhood. And so these are the highest, most quintessential points that are taken from this ontological treatise on Freemasonry. And the Baal Shem of London, being a true sovereign grandmaster of the whole Illuminati, has the entire understanding, the true entire holistic understanding is in his possession, which he is teaching to a young initiate and adept of this brotherhood, who has no understanding of what true Freemasonry is, or being a true Knights Templar is. So he continues by stating, although sure, nothing lasts forever, perhaps Providence selected precisely this course of events to make an end of the present scheme of Freemasonry. And Ernst, his reply is, wait, see, you have to understand the gap between a budding initiate and adept and a total fucking sovereign grandmaster of the Holy Illuminati. Okay? The gap is so fucking large that the budding initiate's mind is going to be ridiculously boggled, to say the least. He's going to be absolutely staggering when he's done talking to this sovereign grandmaster, which is exactly what happens. So yes, in total complete astonishment and surprise, scheme of Freemasonry? Wait, all you stupid, ignorant Freemasons, you didn't know that it's all one big fucking scheme? And you wonder why when you read the holy word, Hashem is laughing. He's laughing. He laughs. And then you don't think his highest sons, the sovereign grandmasters, like the chief magicians, such as myself, you don't think we're laughing side by side with Hashem? Now notice the Kabbalistic response given. The Jewish Kabbalistic response, Shkin, husk, guys, husk, klippa. It's the klippa. It's a klippa. Dominated by the klipoth. Ernst says, I still don't follow. The gap is so fucking huge, he can't even follow. Half the time in this dialogue, he doesn't fucking follow. He can't follow. It's too sublime. It's too fucking sublime for him. The Baal Shem replies, surely you don't suppose that Freemasonry has always played the Masonic part? And he's talking like a true Sovereign. Surely you don't, clearly you don't know that Freemasonry hasn't always played the Masonic part. What are you talking about? Well, I'm asking you whether you hold that what Freemasonry is has always been called so. But look, it's going on supper time. My guests are arriving. You'll stay, won't you? And so then the conversation basically dissipates and ends here. So what we have here then is a true sovereign Grand Master of the Holy Illuminati who has a complete understanding of everything, has a complete 360-degree view of everything, no pun intended, by the way, of what is going on. So you have to understand, there are some really high and some really powerful and some really divine people that are walking the earth, even now as we speak. These are the sovereign Grand Masters and magicians of the Holy Illuminati that truly control and run things. And practically nobody knows about these matters that I have spoken about in this video, and that I have revealed. So, in synopsis, it appears that less than a handful of people truly know the ancient quintessence of Freemasonry, and I, the Chief Magician of Mystery Babylon, happen to be one of those individuals. So with that said, Shalom, Salam.